Hello everyone, I hope mnaendelea salama. Yeah, so as you all know, May is a mental health month, and therefore we decided as the Christian Minds Committee to just have a little chat on matters concerning mental health. And today I'm joined by my lovely friends, and I'm just going to give them a minute to say their names, and then we'll continue from there. Karibu sana.
I'm Purity Lavin, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm Lydia Barasa. I'm glad to be here.
I'm Sammy Titus. I'm glad to be here as well.
I'm Daisy Shalvi. I'm glad to be here.
I'm Woody Frederick. Pleasure to be part of this team.
And I'm Daniel Mwendo. I'm also glad to be here. Yeah, awesome. Now that tumejuana, I think we can delve deeper into just knowing what mental health is. And I don't know, Lavin, what can you say about mental health?
So I think I'll start with defining. So mental health is a state of social, psychological, and emotional well-being. So it is a state in which you're able to carry out everyday activities despite the normal stresses of life. So in case something happens, for example, on a Tuesday morning, you wake up, you're supposed to go to class, you're supposed to do something else during the day, and you wake up 10 minutes late. For any normal person, and by normal I mean normal according to society, you're able to carry out your activities effectively after that. But then for some people, it is a challenge to continue with your normal activities when such things happen to you. So I would say mental health has two components. It has the mental wellness part, which is the good health, as I would put it, and there is the mental ill health or illness part. So the first part where I started with well-being, that is the mental wellness part. That is when you're able to continue with your normal activities despite the challenges. But then ill health comes in when you're not able to carry out these activities anymore, when stressors considered by society to be normal come your way. So I think I'll invite Lydia to say something more about it, and then we can continue with this discussion.
Thank you, Lavin, for this opportunity. I may also want to add that mental wellness, we can find out that someone may be in a state of well-being whereby he's able to carry out the normal activities despite of the normal stressors of life, and then we also have a state whereby the person may not be able to carry out the normal activities due to some reason, whereby you may find out that someone is depressed due to some reason. For example, a person may have social constraints and also financial issues. So this may hinder the person from carrying out the normal activities.
Awesome.
Dan, can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like for each and every person, it's actually different. You know, what I will consider normal is not what you'll consider normal.
Sure.
So from our definition, from what we've said, you should not pick out like there is a normal that is the basis for everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Just know that everybody is different and your normal is different from
Yeah. Kila mtu na level yake, si ndio? Then kuna hii jina moja nimesikia mkisema stressors. Kidogo watu kwenda group of school. Kizungu kidogo pale inatusumbua, si ndio? But I think maybe just trying to give a guess, stressors maybe are the causes that the things that will bring about now the mental ill health, si ndio? Yeah, and I don't know Shavia, what do you think causes mental ill health?
Well, I feel the causes of mental ill health are quite diverse, and they affect people in different ways. There are people who, when perhaps, when you look at a larger majority of the population, poverty could be a cause of mental health issues. But there are some people who can handle that pretty well and still not have any mental health issues. So from this, we know that it varies from one person to another.
Sure.
And then again, number two, we have things like childhood trauma. There are some people who've gone through, quite a tale in their childhood, and it affects how they grow up, it affects how they mature as people. So it affects their outlook towards life, and in the end it will cause them mental issues. Then again, we have maybe social interactions with people, you know. Number one, we can have, under social interactions, can have things like comparison. You know, you find yourself comparing yourself to others, and you know, well, we are not equal. We are different people. So when you compare what other people have and what you do not have, you know, it ends up being a stressor, as you guys have said, and it, in the end, it will cause mental health issues. Again, off my head, I think when we are not able to achieve some of the targets that we have put for ourselves, and in the end we feel so depressed about it. I think some people like me, maybe KCSE results hazikuwa mzuri sana, and you know, it was stressful, and it causes you to be depressed. Yeah. And then okay, tunaendelea someone else as
sure. I think naona some imitators anafikiria kwa nguvu sana until veins are popping out. So me, what has ever stressed you?
Hapo ndo umenyanika mbele yangu. Okay, let me respond to it. Then you see, okay, let me this experience, and after form actually I learned in a private boarding school, which was actually mixed, and thank God, because I never wasn't a part of the scandal of boy-girl relationship. So it's like I escaped. I escaped somehow. But I told God one thing, that God, I don't want any girl in my life until I finish fourth year, until you show me the right time that I'm mature as Sammy to get into marriage. But God had his own plans, and after home for this girl who came along, yeah, we talked and talked and talked. I don't know why we talked so much that we, yeah, and all of a sudden, we started liking each other, and that's how, you know, just story inaendelea, najua. So after we started dating for a couple of months, there are these habits that I saw in this lady that were not pleasing to me, like the way she used to dress, to talk, to the friends she was hanging out with, and that made me to be so drained, because at times I could talk to her, but it's like I'm serious, but she's not serious. She's just laughing like any. So I was offended, and it made me to be so much drained, not only mentally, but in all other aspects of life, like maybe my spiritual life. I wasn't growing at all. I was just stagnant at that point. So that's how I was affected. But one thing I realized is that, you know, people do say that life is a journey. Life is a journey. Many people define life in various ways. But in this life, you have to know that things do happen. And as long as you are in the Lord, they happen for his own glory. They happen for our good. Because the Bible says in Romans that all things happen together for the good of those who love the Lord, and those whom he has called for his own purpose. So we have to understand that these things are not for a lifetime. They are always there to shape us, to transform us in some point in life. Sometimes you might think that you are perfect, that I think I'm ready for this, I think I can handle this by myself. You know, that's your ego talking. But God always has his own way, you know, and he brings something for because he wants to teach you something, you know, because some of these issues are affecting our youth so much, and some even don't have the confidence to share with other people. But I thank God, because nimeambia umati, but I am here because it's a good thing. Yeah. So that's what I can say.
I think Samia amesema kitu that it used to drain him, ndio, and it was at that point that I realized that whatever was going on in his life was sort of draining him mentally. I don't know if Freddy sijui, are there specific things that unafanya maybe in your life, or kuna patterns unaonanga ama habits unaonanga zikikama up, ama pia unaweza pick up from watu wengine, and then unajiambia hapa there must be something that's inanisumbua. Like maybe let me just give a personal example. When I'm stressed a lot, either ukula sana ama nalala sana. So at that point you realize that kuna kitu na inanisumbua. Yeah, I don't know, Freddy, how do you realize that Mambo imeenda mulama kidogo.
Okay, as for me, kuangalia mambo kama imechemka, yeah, usually as you've said, there are some times when I feel I'm completely low, like niko down kabisa. Na utapata those times I'm very very off at that interaction nilikuwa na watu wengine, it's very very suppressed. Naweza kuwa with my roommate but still I'm very very mom. I'm not talking about anything. Hadi sitaki kumwambia niko aje. Like tu mnaongea na msee uko zile za yes. Ni kama tu unamwassume. Uko lakini like wewe mwili tu ndio ina respond but uko kwingine you are mentally like you are not participating in your mind on what you're doing. And on another thing which actually I've come to realize about myself, when some things actually are not okay, there is that tendency of whereby I start developing some very very weird characteristics and ways of doing my things. Unapata like I had to say for example I have been having a routine like nafaa kuamka for example niende prayers, basi unapata hiyo time ile like unalala completely like so hadi unaanza kujiuliza we ni mimi huyu ama ni mtu mwingine. And then pia najipatanga like you are spiritually down. Unapata hata ukienda church unaangalia watu tu hivi, uko tu unaangalia watu vile vile tu wanakaa, si eti like umekuja church ulikuwa na ile intention ya kuja church. Yeah, I think such issues zimekuwa ziki rise up, but one thing that I need actually us to know is that we are not immune to these things. They are just there. We are not immune to them, and we must accept the fact. Like these things gonna happen, as Samia said, and they are very fleeting. They are not okay. They will leave some indelible imprints to us, but still we need to understand that these things are there. We must experience them as human beings. But I think what we must understand is that we have the ability to deal with them. You see, we have the ability to deal with them, even if they come. Probably you may see that you're very very weak, but we have the ability to deal with each and every one of these things, and we can be physically and mentally fit as we were before.
Wow, awesome, yeah. I think maybe to pick up kitu Freddy na Titus wamekuwa kisema is that you can't prevent these things from happening actually. There's this common quote that says you cannot prevent a bird from landing on your head, but you can prevent it from building a nest there. The same thing here with stresses of life and these issues that are causing mental ill health. We can't stop them from coming, because I'm sure tukianza maybe from where Lavin is tuende kwa Lydia na kila msee aseme tu whatever is stressing them will be here for 40 days and 40 nights. True, you're right. Na tutakuwa tumemaliza bado, si ndio? Yeah, but I think the main thing now that already tumejua that what mental health is, mental wellness, mental ill health, and think that causes it. Sindio? We have dwelled on that. We can now maybe try see and try just brainstorm on how now do we able how able to navigate along these lines. Sindio? Tunawezaje ku overcome these challenges, mental health, how are we able to go about the issues. Sindio? So I think I'll just go back to Samini Mulize. For example, so umetuambia you had your issues. Ilikuwa imehappen. What did you do? What did you do to overcome that? How did you navigate that mental ill health situation that you had?
Thank you so much, brother Dan. Actually, how maybe let me use my own take how I handle it. First of all, the most important thing when you are in such a mess, maybe I can use that term, is talk to someone whom you can trust. Don't just share your information, something that is so confidential to anybody, because sometimes our emotions take hold of us that we don't even think at all. Because anyone I just meet, I just want to share. But one thing that stood out for me during that time is find someone. Samititis, find someone whom you can trust with your information, because it is so bad if you come to me with something that you have not even shared with your closest friend, like maybe Freddy, and share with me, then mimi nae na kierere yangu enda kushare na it will be so much bad, you know. Yeah, it will even drain you more,
sure.
Because you trusted me so much, you had confidence, but nimekufanya hata uko the state you are before, it's even worse, you know. So the first thing, you have to find someone whom you can trust, someone whom you know that if I share this information with Freddy, I know this guy will not unfold this information to anybody else. Because that's one thing that I've realized, that when you share a problem that is maybe has pushed you on the wall to someone, at least you'll be that burden itakuwa imetoka kwa hati yako. Then second thing that I used to do, I'm a football fan. Mimi ni wa Chelsea, lakini season tumumia. Season ya relegation. So another thing I used to do exercise. Because ukifanya exercise daily inakurelieve of those mindset. Unaona? That even if this is the life that I was raised, but this is not what I am. This is what I am. Because I believe that change is inevitable. I can change from this. No, I can change from, maybe I was a drug addict. Maybe that's how I was influenced when I was a little child. But I believe that through involving myself in exercising, I can maybe distance myself from those things. And another thing that I also learned is be away from triggers. There are some things that trigger you maybe to think about that which you are trying to heal from. Maybe drug addiction. Unapata you hang out with people who are drug addicts. It will make you to go there at the same place. So another thing yenye inafaa pia linisaidia ni keep off from things that will trigger that mindset, because you are doing exercise, you are sharing with someone you trust, kwa sababu unataka hizo mindset zikutokee. So don't again go back to square one by involving yourself in such things. And also another thing that I used to do is give to others. What do I mean by giving to others? Someone once said that a simple act of kindness creates an endless ripple. That means that we have all been gifted in various areas, by the way. No one was born empty in this life. If you tell me that you have got nothing to give this world, that means that you are saying that God gave you nothing. And in fact, it's something that is false. I believe that no matter how the challenges, no matter how you are drained mentally, there is something that you can impact someone with. Maybe calling a friend. Just know how they are faring on. It will relieve those mindsets. So I think those are the things that zilinisaidia sana during that moment. And as per now, I can say that I'm well off compared to where I was initially. So zinasaidia sana, bro.
Nice. I think Samini Kama has summed up all. We're just going to echo what Mwalimu has said.
Isi Mwalimu, bro.
Yeah, I think for Sami, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Sindio? Yeah, and even as we are coming to a wrap, I think Lavin, I'm sure all of us, Lavin, Lydia, Shavia, Freddie and I'm sure all of us have had points in our lives whereby we have been mentally stressed. Yeah, so maybe you can just share in a minute or two how are you able to go about that, and what did you do to be able to come out of it?
So personally, I think there's this chronic stressor for me, which would be exams. So I know when it's exam time and I've not read, I will be stressed. And for some of us, I'm sure, there's some of us when you tunajua specific stressors that affect us and it's sort of chronic. Achana na the acute one kama yenye Sami ameongelea. So personally, I feel like at times it's very important to be very intentional in whatever you do. It is a very important preventive measure for anybody who knows that this thing actually triggers me to have challenges that I cannot deal with. So I feel like be intentional. Never do things and you're like, nilijikuta, hukujikuta. You just failed to plan. Hukujikuta. So plan ahead, and in case at one point, despite your planning, it fails and you're having a challenge, find ways that work for you. It could be talking to somebody, it could be exercising, it could be anything, giving, whatever it is, something works for you. So first try to prevent. If it fails, deal with it immediately. Don't let things build up.
Awesome. Video.
One of my stressors that may affect my mental health is whereby when someone does do wrong me, I find it like it usually disturbs my mind. In that I ask myself, why did this person do this to me? And then I try to find out like, how can I live in this world with such a person? And then I can try to find someone to share the problem or what may have caused this person to do this thing to me. and then maybe I can call the person, inform the person that actually you did this thing to me, but then I could not understand the reason. So you can share to me, maybe we find out the problem, then I can forgive the person, we continue with our relationship.
Nice. Ni mzuri, you just piga simu mazio mwambie hapo bro. Au ulipitia njia mbaya.
Okay, yeah. Me have had quite a number of stresses, but the one that has stood up for me, it happened like maybe some week, maybe a fortnight ago. So I fell out with one of my closest friends, and mimi pia nikakuwa na ego, nikasema mimi siendi kumuongelesha, acha tuone nani atakuja kumwongelesha nani wa kwanza. So I forgot, like, me personally, I can't keep grudges, I can't do that. So it kept eating me, like, from the inside. All this while mimi nimekuwa nikisikia uchungu, like mimi naumizwa. And then the same week I was dating someone, and then nikaachwa.
Moment of silence for
so I felt like it was too much for me, and then we were having like an anat cut the next week. So nilikuwa na feel like, wow, this is too much for me, kwani Mungu nimefanya nini? Yeah, so I don't know, for all this time I cry, man. I feel like crying helps me a lot. I cry, and then I feel like the burden is lighter. At this time so instead ya kukuwa na ego, I just went to talk to my friend, nikamuuliza, baby, kwani what was the problem ni nini? So kumbe it was a mistake too, a random misunderstanding yenye tungeongea ingekuwa solved na iishe. So one thing, of course, as she has said, ku approach mse amekukosea or something in a social case, approaching the person and you talk things out. And then again, okay, my mom does not know I was dating, so I couldn't call her. So I couldn't. But I know I have a Father in heaven who knows like all these. So me went to God, nikamwambia, bebe God, ni hivi na hivi na mimi nina feel hivi, and I know maybe it wasn't the best decision for me to get into dating as early as now. But bado ni wewe nimerudi back to you. So I think we find a lot of comfort in God, like in whatever, in anything. Personally, I think in everything I have gone through, I find a lot of comfort in God. Yeah, so for me, I think God and talking, I'm not a person who would like talk to people about the things I face. I tend to keep them to myself, but I think when I talk to God, it feels so good.
It's true. I think what I can add to what they have said. One thing that I've heard maybe my sister talking about is na acha nikae hapa ningoje kama atakuja mama anataka mimi nimuendea, hapana, sitaki, nataka kuja wangu. But one thing I've realized is that or sometimes do not let what you are experiencing, what you maybe as Sami, I should not let what I'm going through maybe mentally make me to maybe affect my relationship with other people. Unaona, nisifanye cause nimehatiwa na maybe nimetandikwa heartbreak, unaona, sasa ni affect my relationship yangu na maybe they interact na kina Fred, unaona. That should not be the case, by the way. You should not be just because I have been heartbroken now I am negative to everybody around me. No, that should not be the case. But then, like the way she has put it, by the way, you might weep. Actually, I used to weep, but I used to weep for like an hour before God because of what I'm experiencing. You know, when I get out of my room, I'm just that spiritual giant. You know, Titus and Young, let us say, you know. But I learned that no man is strong. Let no man teach you that there are strong men out there. No man is strong. Only Jesus was the only strong man, because despite of all the temptations, he never gave in. We are all weak. We are all made of flesh and blood. We have got blood flowing through our veins, and we do mess sometimes. But don't let what you are experiencing make you to be kukosana na mabeste wako. Because the most important thing kwa relationship, if you want it to grow, to understand one another. Nikikosea unakuja tu unaniambia openly, by the way umenikosea hapa na hapo, unaona. That will make the relationship to continue growing, to continue blooming, unaona. Rather than nimekukosea unanikasirikia na hujaniambia I think that we are in good terms but in real sense nimekasirikia na sijui, unaona. It's good to be open, to be vulnerable to someone, tell them this and this, and that's how it grow, by the way.
So being the bigger person, si ndio? Nikosha kuna zile ma conversations kwa simu zetu zimeisha cause unangoja text hey, unangoja text hey, mtangoja tu hadi ego. So
Si leo tunapiga sita.
Poleni Freddy.
Yeah.
Stresses zimekuwa mob sana. Apart from kulia. What else do you think has worked for you?
Yeah, I think we have all shared myriad of problems in tumepitia. But I think as for me, one of the issues which has raised and which was a constant stressor to me was sometimes back when my parents would, have some misunderstanding, and that could actually affect me because I would see my little sisters weeping and I would be like, this is not good, this is not right. But as days went by, I just learned something which I think we should, all of us, be able to use. In psychology, they say there's something that they call it adversity quotient. You see, you have to activate your adversity quotient. How do you respond to situations? How do you respond to issues which rise? You see, people have different levels on how they respond to issues. But I think as all of us as human beings, we need to have understanding that you have that ability by yourself. You see, we are saying something like exercising, that is very good. And there are some even issues which can even make you, you forget these things. Like you just read some books, it's very, very helping. You read something concerning the same. There are some individuals who have passed through the same thing and they have written very many things which can be helpful to us. So I think we should just be knowledgeable of these things. Another thing that I think we should learn is you should just let things go. You see, they say that when you find yourself in a hole, you should stop digging it. You see, things mambo yamehappen but still you are there. Sitaki kutoka hapa, sitaki kutoka hapa. You just accept things have happened and you cannot change them. You see, like kuna issues zenye zimehappen, so kama msimu break up na yeye and like you're trying to patch things up but as you work, so issue kama you just iache tu iende, si ndio? Yeah, and on issues on these issues which can make us to be mentally unstable, we need to realize them. You see, there are some stressors, there are some triggers, as he said, and we need to be very, very cautious about these things. There are some things that when I walk in this path can lead to something which is very, very disastrous to me. So actually you should make yourself to be very, very knowledgeable on what you're doing, the effects, both adverse effects and other positive effects, and you can know how to deal with them. And with time you can just grow yourself to a level whereby you will be responsive to everything. You'll be able to handle everything which arises and you can maintain your composure, you can maintain yourself in a way that individuals probably will not even be able to know you are like kuna kitu yenye ina happen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, wow. I think this is a conversation that we need an entire week for. Watufanye conference on mental health. We call speakers from outside that. Yeah. Mambo tumepitia hapa. It's quite a lot and I'm sure there are a lot of things that we have not mentioned. Yeah, but I think before we label anything as mental health, yesterday I happened to attend a training and one of the facilitators alisema that depression is a diagnosis. Like by the time tunasema you are depressed, you have passed through hell and a lot of things. That's why we are saying you are depressed. So I think it's good even for us. At times, maybe something is not going well, pocket money may delay kutumwa, or maybe there are 1,000 cards you haven't read for and all that. So umeboeka tu now you're calling yourself depressed. I think the main thing is just being able to demarcate from where am I having a bad day to where this is really now getting out of hand. Because more often than not inakuanga tu that we are having a bad day. Just as Lavina alisema labda uliamka late, ulikuwa umejipromise maze, leo lazima niamke, I go to the field, start my morning run, I'm starting my week well and all that. Kumbe unaamshwa na phone call ya bro, kwani haufiki daro? Unamwaje? Wakati naisha. You see such things and then that now eats you up and maybe just that it started small. And I think that's the most important thing for us, to just know where the rain started beating us and know how you're going to find your way back. And you're not alone. We are not alone. Sindio? So you've all echoed that Christ is there with us. He's the first one that we should go, cry to, and talk to, even as he's going to lead us to people that we'll be able to open up to. And what Samia said is very important. Don't just open up to anyone. Sindio? Don't just open up to anyone, because you don't know what their intentions are. It's good even to seek God to know the kind of people that you should be able to open up to, so that they may be able also not even to give you solutions, because just kuongea tu na msesi, I'm sure we are all relieved at times when you just talk to someone. There's a kind of relief that comes in, and I'm sure from there you are able to clear your mind and just have a clear vision on where you are going. Yeah, so that, guys, I really thank you for sparing time so that we can have this chat on mental health. I'm sure we'll continue having this more and more. And to our viewers, we thank you so much for giving us your time also to listen to our talk on mental health. I hope it has been beneficial to you, and may the good Lord bless you, and may the peace of God that surpasses all human understanding keep your minds in Christ and in happy.